What if the scariest thing a horror game can do is nothing? No music, no ambient hum, no footsteps in the distance, just silence and the feeling that something is about to break in. We've been trained by decades of horror movies to expect the jump scare, the stinger, the sudden loud chord, and that's exactly why silence hits harder than any of that. Think about Alien Isolation. You've crawling through a ventilation shaft, the monitor tracker is in your hand, and then the music fades. Not gradually, it just stops. And in that silence, your brain starts filling the gaps. Is the alien right there? Is it above you? Is it already inside of the vent? The sound designer at Creative Assembly knew what they were doing. They gave us silence as a weapon, not against the player character, but against us. Silent Hill does something similar, but in a completely different way. When the fog rolls in, the ambient industrial drone, that low, grinded texture that felt almost unnoticeable before, suddenly disappears. And you realize you were holding onto that noise as a comfort. You didn't even know you needed it until it was gone. This is the mechanism. Horror is the most effective when it removes what we didn't realize we were relying on. SOMA uses silence at pivotal story moments, the moments when the game wants us to sit with something uncomfortable. No music to tell us how to feel, no atmospheric layer to keep us grounded, just a dark underwater room and the choice we don't want to make. And here's the thing that makes silence so powerful in a game specifically. We control when we stop moving. A film cuts away. A game lets us just stand there, in the quiet, choosing not to open the next door. Amnesia, The Dark Descent understood this too. The game's sound designer explicitly said the silence was treated as the full audio state. Not an absence of design, but a deliberate design choice. The music would pull back and the player would panic, because nothing says something is born like a game that is suddenly stopped trying to fill the air. But there's a counter-argument that was making. Some games abuse silence. They use it as a cheap preset before a jump scare, which trains player to dread the quiet rather than feel it. That's the difference between horror that respects the player and horror that tricks them. The best use of silence isn't anticipation of what's coming, it's the silence after. That moment in Outlast when you've just hidden and the screaming has stopped, and you don't know if he left or if he's standing right outside the locker, waiting. That silence is not empty, it's full of everything you're afraid of. So the next time a horror game goes quiet, don't mute it. Don't turn on a podcast, sit in it, because the designer worked harder on that silence that you would expect, and they want you to feel every second of it.